Today, we're diving into the pretty provocative ideas of Grace, a business mogul who literally went from selling used clothes on the street to building a real estate empire. Her philosophy? It pretty much challenges everything we think we know about jobs, money, and what it really means to be successful. Let's get into it. So let me ask you, do you ever feel like your job is just a dead end? Something you just have to get through every day? It's a super common feeling, but according to Greece, that whole way of thinking is based on a huge misunderstanding of what a job actually is. Get this, Grace completely flips the script on the whole 9 to 5 as a scam idea. She argues the system itself isn't the problem. No. The real problem, the scam, happens when either the employee or the employer brings the wrong mindset to the table and basically cheats the other one out of the deal they agreed to. She says that so many people walk into a job with what she calls a fixed mental attitude of a slave. Now, what does that mean? It's this belief that your skills are what they are, and the job is just a place to kill time. And that perspective, she says, makes you completely blind to the huge opportunities for growth and wealth that are sitting right there in front of you. So here's how she reframes it. See, a job isn't slavery, it's a business deal. Think about it. You sent in a CV, that was your proposal. You negotiated a salary and benefits, those were the terms. You accepted the offer, you closed the deal. The moment you start seeing your job as your own personal business inside a bigger company, a place where you can create value and take ownership, everything changes. The whole power dynamic just shifts completely in your favor. All right, so this idea of ownership leads us straight to the next big myth Grace loves to bust. The idea that you need money to make money. I mean, that's the number one excuse that stops millions of people from ever even trying to build something for themselves, right? For Grace, this isn't some motivational quote. This is how she built her entire career. She says that wisdom, which to her means seeing an opportunity and acting on it right away, is way, way more valuable than a pile of startup cash. But okay, how does that actually work in the real world? Well, here's her origin story. She literally went to a market with zero money in her pocket. Nothing. She talked a vendor into letting her try to sell 10 pieces of clothing for him. She sold them and earned a tiny commission. And with that very first bit of profit, she bought her own stock. See? She didn't wait for a bank loan. She created her own capital out of nothing but action and a good idea. And this idea of starting with nothing, well, it leads to one of her most radical ideas, how she redefines poverty. And trust me, for Grace, it has almost nothing to do with how much money you have. In her world, poverty is a state of mind. It's a psychological condition. It's this combination of not having knowledge and having what she calls a beggar mentality, this deep-seated belief that you have nothing valuable to offer, so you always have to ask for things. She's adamant that there are tons of rich people out there who are mentally incredibly poor. And she's super specific about what this looks like. It's choosing the cheap thing, even when you can afford the thing you actually want. It's being stingy and hoarding your resources. But most of all, it's this constant default mode of asking for things instead of creating or offering value. This quote just nails it, doesn't it? Begging for money or food, that's a quick fix that just keeps you stuck in a loop. But seeking knowledge? She says that's the one thing that can break the cycle for good, because it gives you something real to offer the world. Okay, so if knowledge is the key, does that mean you need to go read 100 books on business before you do anything? Absolutely not. For Grace, knowledge is totally useless without immediate action, and this is probably her most challenging idea for a lot of people. She just throws the traditional playbook out the window. Forget the 50-page business plan. Go sell one thing and see what happens. Don't wait to get another certification. Use the one tiny thing you learned yesterday and use it now. She believes momentum comes from doing, not from planning. The real world is your best teacher, and you can't learn anything if you're not in the game. And what about the big one, the fear of failure? Well, Grace has a unique take. She doesn't really believe in it. What most of us would call a failure, she just calls process. It's not the end of the road. It's just a piece of data. It's a necessary step on the journey, not a reason to quit. So, let's see how all of this actually comes together in the real world. Someone asked Grace how she'd handle different kinds of employees, and her answers tell you everything you need to know about what she really values. Just look at this breakdown. Someone with integrity who's lazy, she'd train them because integrity is everything and laziness can be fixed. Someone who's basic but always reliable, train them. You can build on that. But loyalty combined with slow thinking, she says that's a dead end. They can't adapt. A hard worker who causes drama? Gone. They're toxic. And the genius problem solver who's always late, she could not care less. Their value isn't punching a clock, it's solving her problems. It's just a pure, ruthless focus on creating value. So as we start to pull all of these threads together, her ideas about work, about money, about poverty, it becomes so clear that they all point back to one single, incredibly powerful idea. And this is really the ultimate takeaway. Your circumstances don't define you. Your mindset does. Your own perception of yourself is what creates your reality, not the other way around. Whether you see yourself as a victim or a creator, a slave or an owner, that is the single most important choice you will ever make. And really, that's the question Grace leaves us with. It's got nothing to do with your job title or how much money you have. It's all about the story you tell yourself. So, after hearing all this, what do you think you are?